good morning and happy new month, 1st of September 2024. The year continues to reduce day by day. You're watching a live broadcast. This is Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. A very good morning once again. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nílé ní gbogbo ibikíbi tí ẹ bá ti láǹfààní àti tún gbọ́ wa ní sáà yìí ní orí ìkànnì wa tí a mọ̀ sí Koikimedia, nílé iṣẹ́ tí a fi ń kéde Yorùbá Nation Campaign, níbi tí a ti ń dára wa lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àti láti mọ ìdí kókó àti pàtàkì tí ọmọ Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe gbogbo ohun tó tọ́ ní sáà yìí láti lè fi kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá pé gbogbo ìgbà tí a bá ń jáde ni ẹ̀yin náà ń tẹ̀lé wa jáde láti fẹ́ mọ báwo ló ṣe ń lọ àti pé níbo ni ìrìn àjò náà dé àti pé kí la tún láti ṣe tí a fi lè jí àwọn èèyàn wa tí wọ́n ṣì ń sùn, torí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bẹ nílé àti tó ń bẹ lírìn àjò tí wọ́n ní kò lè ṣẹlẹ̀ nígbà tí à ń rí gbogbo ibi tí signal fún wa pé àwọn kan wà tó fẹ́ gba ilẹ̀ mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́ tí a dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ fún ní àyè. Bí ẹ ṣe ń wọlé, ẹ bá wa gbọ́wọ́lé share button, kẹ bá wa pé àwọn ará ilé. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, happy new month to every sons and daughters of Yorubas around the world. Gbogbo ẹni tí ó ń ṣọjọ́ ìbí ni a kí. Mo kí wa pé Yorùbá Nation is coming back and is non-negotiable. In tá à ń pè fún, pè ní self-determination, and self-determination is not a crime. Kò kí ń ṣe offence kankan ní ayé yìí, nítorí pé according to the UN, self-determination is an inalienable right, and we are only exhausting that right under the UN rules and regulations. So if you're new to the platform, share the program and invite others to join as well. Let's kickstart with this.
Oṣù kẹwàá ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ gbọ́. Ọjọ́ tó ń sọjọ́ ìbí ọmọ aládìkún. Olóyè Sunday Májàsọ́lá Àdìsá ọmọ Adéyẹmọ aka Ìgbòho Òòṣà, nípa bí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lọ́dún àpapọ̀ Yorùbá lágbàáyé lábẹ́ ààrẹ wa ọmọọba Adébáyọ̀ Fáládé ti gbákejì ààrẹ Mákindé Ìgè-Àdùnbí Kentos ń ṣe ìrọ́kẹ̀kẹ̀ ìgbáradì níbàámu pẹ̀lú ìfẹ́ àti ẹ̀mí ìforihàn. Àgbékalẹ̀ àyẹ́sí ọjọ́ ìbí Ìgbòho fún tọdún yìí pẹ̀lú àkọlé Dinner with Ìgbòho. Bákan náà la ó mọ gba ọba Ògbóni àgbáyé lálejò Tajudeen Ọlárẹ̀wájú Àjàlá àti bàbá Adésọjí Tàlàbí àwòrò ṣàṣà eégún mọ̀gájí nílùú London láti wá ṣe àyẹ́sí fún olóyè Ìgbòho lọ́jọ́ náà tí ó wáyé nínú gbọ̀ngàn ńlá ní London Kensington 179-199 Holland Park Avenue London W114UL United Kingdom, bẹ̀rẹ̀ látago 7 ìrọ̀lẹ́ ẹlẹ́lẹ́dago 12 òru. Bákan náà láti kí wa kú ìmúrasílẹ̀ ìwọ́de làmìlaka tẹgbẹ̀lẹ́gbẹ̀ ènìyàn tí ó wáyé nílùú ọba 1 million rally in London lọ́jọ́ 12 oṣù kẹwàá tó jẹ́ ọjọ́ kejì dínà pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho, léyìí tó Ọláyọmí Kóìkì àti bàbá wa Gbẹ̀du ọmọ ṣàkóso ẹ̀ lọ́kàn ọ̀jọ̀gán àwọn àlàkalẹ̀ ìrọ̀rùn. Bàbá ṣe máa fi ọkọ̀ àjàgbé ńlá ní London round bus gbé àwọn àgbààgbà àti àwọn abarapá gbogbo láti BBC in Oxford Street títí tí ìwọ́de ó fi parí sí Paris Trafalgar Square tó bá wá di ọjọ́ 13 ọjọ́ kẹtàdínà pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho. Láwọn ṣàbẹ̀wò lọ sí ìlú Manchester gan fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i tàbí láti dá sí ètò ìfọlọ́dúnrìnlé ẹ lè pè tàbí kẹ́ WhatsApp Ọláyọmí Kóìkì lórí +447-594-050-979, Kẹ́hìndé Ìgè-Àdùnbí lórí +447-570-320-030, Ṣọlá Kòbùdọ̀kú lórí +353-863-375-537. Bákan náà ní ẹ lè kàn sí Tóyìn Ọláoyè lórí +447-896-018-764. Lápapọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá àgbáyé pátápátá YSDN pẹ̀lú Yorùbá World Media Home and Diaspora àti gbogbo ìkànnì mìíràn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ sókè fún ìjàǹgbara ọmọ Yorùbá. Ìyàwó ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lọ́dún àpapọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá ṣe kí ọmọ aládìkún wípé ẹkú ọdún ẹkú níyẹ̀dún a sì ń ṣàmọ́dún aṣàmọ́dún sẹ̀ ní ìtayàtọ̀mọ. Yorùbá World Media ló kéde lórúkọ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pátápátá.
1st of September 2021, where we continue our campaign and where we continue the discussion on the reason why we need to de-amalgamate Nigeria. Like I said, my name remains the same, and I'd like to appreciate you as you're joining. Please share the program and invite others to join as well. Lots and lots when we look at Nigeria in the last 63 years. Questions have been asked, questions continue to be asked, and we need answer to those questions. So, as we start the program this morning, let's remind you of this.
About the poor getting 60,000 naira. I say anyone who earns up to 1 million naira in the month, I have been sick of this problem. I have been sick of this controversy over living wage or minimum wage. And I believe that something is seriously wrong with the heads of many of our leaders. How can anyone who earns 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, not to talk of people who earn 1 million, 2 million, how can they go to sleep in good conscience every day? How can they go to sleep in good conscience and come out to sit down in a boardroom to discuss the sustainability or otherwise of paying 60,000 to the poorest of workers? How can we go to bed and sleep, all those who belong to the elite, who earn 2, 3, 4, 500,000, 1 million? How can you go to sleep in good conscience, I say, if you still have any conscience? How can you go to sleep in good conscience and come out to be debating? I hear people on TV, I watch people on TV, experts, economic experts, corporate executives, government officials, who are taking home more than 1 million in a month. And they are there arguing that 60,000 or over will destroy the economy. It's not sustainable. How wicked! You give 60,000.
And these are questions táwọn èèyàn find out pé kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ gan nílùú tí ó ní gbogbo nǹkan tí ó ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìtàn pè ní resources, but yet millions of our people continue to live in abject poverty. Moshki ní gbogbo Ondo City, Mr. Adedeji Joe at almost 3:45. Báwo ni Ondo ní wákàtí àti pé báwo ni nǹkan ṣe ń lọ nínú state? Mo kí ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń wò wá láti Ondo State. Bẹ́ẹ̀ mo lọ mo kí ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń wò wá láti gbogbo ibikíbi tí Elédùmarè bá ti ní kí ẹ máa wò wá, kẹ́ máa gbọ́ wá. Once again, this is Koikimedia Live. Shout out to you, Silver Badmons, and those of you that have joined us on all the other platforms, including the Twitter Space, and the Mix LR. The Yoruba are educated people, as we know, well educated, bí a ti ṣe gbọ́ nínú ìtàn, but yet we have been backwards for a very long time, and it seems that backwardness is now having a big toll on our lives. Let's read the anthem, then when I come back, we start looking at what we need to know and why we need to de-amalgamate this contraction that was put together. Mr. Idris Abimbola, shout out to you, good morning. Shout out to you, Bilo For Real, and the rest of you that have joined us. And good morning to you, Láti Adó Èkìtì. Ṣé rí pé àwọn èèyàn wà nílé tí ẹ̀mí wọn wà nínú ìrìn àjò yìí. Láti ẹni tó ń wò ní Lagos State, Abuja, Kaduna, Sokoto. Shout out to you and happy, beautiful Sunday to all our Christian brothers and sisters around the world. Mama Ni, we are not fighting Yoruba nation to turn Yoruba into the traditionalist, atheist, and all that. We want a total freedom out of the contraction that the United Kingdom put together. Mokeyiten Womini, Atlanta, Georgia, in America. I hope to be in America, hopefully sometime next year, God's willing. Babami Oluwole Osho, one Kimila Adó Èkìtì, one of the most important states in Yoruba land. People are well educated up to the professor level. I am not talking about a professor where you are just being given because of the role or the work you do in the society. Àwọn èèyàn kàwé débẹ̀ ni, and that is something that we got to be proud of. Àtẹni tó wà ní Atlanta City, ìyá Elizabeth Akimbode, àtẹni tó ń gbọ́ mi ní Adó Èkìtì, àtẹni tó ń wò mí ní Ondo, ọmọ Yorùbá kan náà ni wá, àtẹ̀mí tí mo wà ní United Kingdom. But what went wrong? Gbogbo yẹn náà la tó fẹ́ fi ṣe àlàyé ọ̀rọ̀ fúnra wa. Mo kí wa, let's settle into the program. It's just coming up to 4 a.m. You might be wondering, do I sleep at all? Yes, I do. But if I was meant to be resuming work at almost 4 a.m., I would have left my house an hour or thereabout. So this is when we should do it, not when it is late. Some might say, is this how it's going to happen? The question is, in Tomawo state méjì tán wò mí, Èkìtì àti Ondo, it shows that people knows and they are conscious. Àwọn tó wà nílé, they are really tired. But it is just the spark, the negotiation, the dialogue. And as we say every day, every program has its own conversation. Èyí tí mo ṣe lálẹ́ àná will be different from today, but the center point is, will this government allow a peaceful dissolution of Nigeria, or they need the West to tell us when to break up this contraction? These are reasons why we will continue to push Tinubu, talk to him through the means that we are doing. And as Baba Akintoye said, we must do everything to avoid violence, to avoid bloodshed. But the country is boiling and there's already blood spilling on a daily basis. Iṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ wa, forílẹ̀ ibi wa, kàgbéga, kàgbéga, kàgbéga fàlẹ́rì. Ìgbàgbọ́ wa ni pé láti bẹ̀rù làbọ̀ mọ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká jọlá. Ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ní kẹjẹ́ ká máa lépa, ìtẹ̀síwájú fọ̀pọ̀ ire àtohun tó dára. Ọmọ Oòduà dìde, bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ, ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Mo kí bàbá wa Mukaila Saliu, mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí ìyá dáadáa. Àwọn tí wọ́n dúró tán, even as much as some might disagree with us, especially after the 2x2 tó wà àárín wa. Wait, Koiki, this is not what we would expect from you all. Ó jẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ back ìyá ẹ̀ ni, but like I always say, you will back what you have evidence to. You don't back anything that doesn't have evidence. So for those of you that are still engaging in that direction, we wish you the best of luck. You are Yorubas. Àpàdé náà ni at the appropriate time. Kò sọ́mọ Yorùbá kan tó lè lọ́mọ Yorùbá kan kúrò when the time comes. We are just preparing. Does not mean that I will be part of the government. But when we say government, the government belongs to the people. As we know in Nigeria, the government does not belong to the people. I was looking at the headline of Wike saying, if you're not happy with me joining Tinubu, go and hug the transformer. So Mokiyawa Stella Shodende, let me first appreciate those that contributed throughout the program yesterday. It was a fantastic program that ended up with us preparing for the 12th of October as CSI, like I said, will be in the United Kingdom. It's a privilege to have him here with us. It will also be a privilege for us to see many thousands of you. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbé ní Leicester, Newcastle, all the way to Scotland. Organize yourself and make it like a day trip. I can tell you that by the time the event finished, probably about 4 or 5, you'll be preparing to go out of London and you will get back to your base, even if you are coming from Scotland on a coach. Teba Aya Coach, the Nigerian Student Association, most of you are facing a lot of difficulties in this country. Yoruba wà láàrin yín. Mutab Abdul Mutab Farouk, like I said, studied at the University College in London. I'm sure we kò ní wàhálà nípa ọ̀rọ̀ owó. Yet, in 2009, this young man was ready to blow up an American airline in December 25th. Many Yoruba people that are studying in the UK are struggling on the student visa due to the exchange rate that is about 2,100 naira to the pound. So why not also be part of this discussion? We're not telling you to do what we don't want you to do. But are you sure that in Tomuyi Sakuro no Nigeria, 30 get stuck? Most of you came here with an exchange rate of over 800 naira to 1,000. You are now looking at about almost 2,000 naira. Most of you will not be able with the 16 hours to fulfill that final course. And I'm saying this because one of our mothers that lives in the Newcastle area that I communicate with, she's trying her best to support the Nigerian community in that area. It will be nice to see thousands and hundreds of you. And if Nigeria was great, most of us should be on scholarship to study here, like the Chinese, the South Koreans, those and they return back home. It is only the Nigerians that are looking for money to come and study in the UK, while other countries are sending their citizens, Kawasi Louis, to further their education and return back home. Mokibabawa Aki Wande, good morning, sir. So, in terms of ṣàlàyé ni pé ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jẹ́ student tẹ́ wà nílùú yìí, it will be opportunity. Look, it will not stop you from being Nigeria because Nigeria is still a country until the complete collapse like it was during the Soviet Union. That will not stop you from engaging in the Nigerian activities. I might not, because I don't see any reason for that. I have done that. My engagement for now should remain within the Yoruba activities and the campaign. But that does not mean I should not engage the Nigerian community in the United Kingdom. So this campaign is also for you. Regardless of your take, regardless of your beliefs in Nigeria, whether you agree with Yoruba to exit or you want Yoruba to remain in Nigeria, something is wrong with Nigeria. And that's something that is wrong is why we are saying, can we continue in this direction? Most of our families that are watching us from Ado Ekiti this morning, Tonwo Walati Ondo State, from Lagos State, because I know I've seen Ogun State. So already I can tell you that I've captured at least 4 people watching me from Yoruba land today. Abroad. But is it possible to bring 35 million Yoruba people to come and live abroad? Some might say we have leadership problem. The foundation of Nigeria is far beyond leadership problem. The British created what they knew was never going to work. Even some might argue, but we were given something to work with until it was brought down. The question then is, would President Tinubu allow Nigeria to go back to that direction? Or should we just say we want a full independent out of Nigeria? Once again, my name is OLAYOMI Koiki. And this morning, we're going to go into another angle. Dissolution is the solution. What I'm reading from these 2, 3, 4 paragraphs was put together by Oluwole Faroti Ajala. I call him Baba Ajala. These are Yoruba men that have lived in this country, that witness how things should not be. But yet, some Yorubas that live in this country think that since we are here, we should not be worried about our people back home. We are concerned, we are worried. Even prior before the Yoruba nation, everybody knows that the election is not always conclusive. I was with my friend, Balogun Eko, when someone sent me his latest that Dapo Abiodun rigged the election in Ogun State. I am not surprised. I was in Ogun State in 2019 at the beginning of the year where the election was conducted. As an observer that flew out of London for the very first time to witness what election is all about in Nigeria, with my own hard-earned money. I flew out of London, traveled to Nigeria. I was lucky because as at the time I arrived in Nigeria, I was told that accreditation for journalists is completely closed. But due to one talk, one contact, I was able to get my own accreditation because that would have been disaster to arrive in Nigeria and not be able to move around because you will not be able to do so to need that accreditation. I've shown you my images and videos of what I did. This was before even the campaign for Yoruba Nation. Not that we didn't believe in Nigeria, but we didn't know that believing in Nigeria was a wrong word because Reni Shalaye fún wa délẹ̀. So fẹ́yìn tẹ́ ṣì náà believe in one Nigeria, I will not argue with you too much. Tí Reni Shalaye fún yín dáadáa ni. Nigeria was prepared to fail. It was a transatlantic trade route for Britain to remove the resources and ship it down here for their own benefit and goods. So if you are a Nigerian community, you are all welcome to join Igboho on this peaceful rally, even if it's just for one thing or two things or three things. It could be for the NSAS, those our children, brothers and sisters that were killed by Buhari's government during the 2020 NSAS, whether in the southeast or the southwest or the middle belt, or it could be for the injustice of Mohbad. Everything that is happening in Nigeria is affecting one person or the other. And once again, kudos to Buki JC and the rest of the team that are working tirelessly so that we can get justice for Mohbad. Whether we will get justice is what I don't know, because till date, we've not been able to get justice for the death of Delegiwa, or should I say the death of Tolulope Arutile, the first ever, and I say the first ever helicopter combat pilot trained with Nigerian money, yet killed by the Nigerian government. Or should we come down closer to home, Lagos State, state of excellency? As I speak to you today, there is no justice yet for the death of Ayonwola Bamishe, a fashion designer that the government never paid a dime, not even a support. She was entering a BRT, just like I will go on the London bus and I will show you the images. She saw the death, but she did not know that death was getting closer. She was communicating with a friend of ours, ó ń bá ọ̀rẹ́ kan sọ̀rọ̀ pé ikọ́ kan right lórí bọ́ọ̀sì, ikú tó bá máa pààyàn á máa fi ara hàn ẹ́, but ó kàn ní mọ̀ pé ikú yẹn ti dé ni. She knew that death was already around, but her friend said, ṣe sọ fún driver yẹn kó park kó bọ́lẹ̀ ní bọ́ọ̀sì. I'm sure at the back of her mind, just like millions of Yoruba people today, will be thinking that à ń parọ́ fún yín ni. Nothing is wrong with Nigeria. It is just leadership problem. I'm sure that is the thinking of Ayonwola. If it was me in the UK that I was witnessing such, I would automatically know that I'm in danger and I will be looking for a panic button to exit wherever I was. But she would have thought that lórí BRT, she wọ́n lè jí mi gbé lórí BRT. Remember that this is not Keke Maruwa. This is not those yellow buses. This is not her entering Okada that she would have said for safety reason. She was on the BRT that the Lagos state government provided for services. Was the governor or the government of Lagos state involved? I can tell you they are, because we haven't got justice for her and they've been trying to bring it down. Just like the powerful men behind the death of Mohbad. Iku Mohbad Okoja Inteyinro. That's why we are not getting involved. We are taking the bigger picture, which is bring down the whole system and you will find justice for everybody. But that will not mean that because àwọn pariwo Yoruba Nation, ẹ̀yin sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ justice for Mohbad, then we will attack you or we will say, but I will say we will not see justice for anybody in Nigeria until the country brings itself down. Lagos State was meant to be a safe haven for Bamishe Ayonwola. She was not just killed. I don't like going into the details because her parents are still alive. Yes, Oshi ni Yoni Baba, and I do communicate with the family because my job means that I do have contact with so many cases that sometimes could be very touching for them. I can tell you she was found naked right on Ebute Metta in Lagos. That's all I will tell you. Just think about any other thing. Let me take you back to 2018. A family traveled to Nigeria, and this goes to the diaspora. Ṣebí mo ṣẹ̀dé láti Nàìjíríà ni kò sí nǹkan kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀. Ọlọ́run ṣọ́ mi ló ṣọ́ mi padà. Yes, it is normal like that. Until something happened and spark, then you will know that may Nigeria never happen to you. This family traveled to Nigeria around 2018 when things were not even as heat as it is. At the space of a second, the woman said their car was shot at. At the space of a second, people came out. Who are these people? These are people that came into the land in the 18th century, and they've become very powerful in the government. They've become powerful within the society. And some of us are looking away. We must dissolve Nigeria. This family were then put into the bush. Right there, a woman was stripped naked. The daughter was completely naked. Imagine America. Like a movie. The painful part about their own story is that the mother became the sacrificed lamb for the family. Baba, Omo, Atiya, Omobiri. They were ready to sleep with the three of them. This is a painful thing I'm talking about, especially if you're in diaspora, that I am telling you, join us on the rally. Not because we are praying that something happens to you when you go to Nigeria. It's just because we must continue to remind ourselves that the truth of what is happening in Nigeria might not be spoken by the BBC, but we will take the message from the BBC at the broadcasting house straight to Trafalgar Square and meeting number 10 Downing Street to the Parliament and the Nigerian House. This is about some field work that will gain maybe some kind of sympathy, if not from the British government, but from the citizens that we know are very honest, especially after Israel continued to kill over 40,000 Palestinians. We saw how people came out. They are not going to support us because all this happening in Nigeria. An average Oyibo can say, there's nothing wrong in Nigeria. Ashake is in America, from what I'm told. The video will be playing in London soon. All this does not mean anything to them because as far as they're concerned, Nigeria is working. This family, the mother, decided to become the sacrificed lamb. They slept with her continuously. That she had to beg them because they kóhun wọnú òjò tó ń rọ̀ yìí kí ara àwọn kóhun lè gba ìdọ̀tí tó wà lára àwọn jáde. She told us that they were Fulanis because she schooled in Adamawa and she knew from their language that àwọn eléyìí kì í ṣe ẹlòmíì ju Fulani lọ. She pleaded. She told them that my husband is a Muslim and the Muslims don't do like this. You know what I told her? Yoruba bastard, that you will tell us about religion. And eventually, they paid 8 million naira to be free. The daughter now told the family after they returned back to America that even at their death, their body must not be returned to Nigeria. Omo Goriola, good morning. Falana Muyiwa, good morning. The family returned back. But the mother said something again, that we are all like a walking cup that is dead. That means let me take you back again to 2021. You will continue to experience all these in the country known as Nigeria. Jumoke Oyeleke was a petty trader, and I mean a very, very petty trader. Gbogbo Jumoke Oyeleke ń tà lórí igbá ẹ̀, tá bá ní ká calculate ẹ̀, it's just under 5,000 naira. While we were preparing to go to the Lagos rally on the 3rd of July, the Nigerian government under Buhari and Yemi Osinbajo invaded Igboho's house. He was lucky not to be killed. If that is alone that you will come down for the rally, is more than enough. Igboho survived that attack. I can tell you that the chances of anybody surviving that attack is very, very rare. Machineries were brought in apart from the Nigerian security. We know because we have the evidence that machinery came into the country as part of what they will use to eliminate Igbo. Because especially they know the kind of person he is. But Igbo will survive it. But we lost two innocent people, a friend and likewise an uncle. The bodies have not been returned to us. Good morning, Mr. Michael Solomon. Ademola Tommy, good morning. At exactly 11 minutes past 4 a.m., same time with Nigeria, different time zone in America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and China. Let's come back a little bit again. Many atrocities has played out in Nigeria, and the only campaign that we can talk about is not another election. When we say we don't want election, we had the Yoruba people that were against us. That is it because Tinubu Lomo Yoruba Afejeki or the president? And I'm happy that you have now experienced what a president of Tinubu looks like. It doesn't matter how long it lasts, but one thing is, whatever comes up must come down. Ìjọba Tinubu needs survive after Toba Barrier. What do I mean by that? Whatever arrangement, economic policy, security, welfare, education that Tinubu put in place will be destroyed by the North as soon as they come back to power. And that means Tinubu wasted all his time trying to be a president. Mukiawa Beauty Amokwe, good morning, ma. And that for me is like a big concern. With Baba Ishe o more consequence in Tolotowobo. Àwọn kan no more ó ti prepare for over 25 years. Tinubu has been nursing the ambition to be the president for a very long time. He wanted to prove something. And like I always say, we can attempt something, but Olonbani, yes, Olonfunse, would he do the needful is the question. Or should we continue on what we are doing right now? Good morning, Mr. Michael Solomon, once again. Happy New Month. And for those celebrating in the month of September, happy birthday in advance. Shikake says, okay. Emma Bineta Lori Koikimedia Instagram. We had a bit of suspension for a couple of days, and that's the reason why you've not seen us coming live on it. Shikake says, okay. Tinubu is a Yoruba man. But that does not mean he loves what we are doing. He might, maybe behind the curtains, behind the scene, but he hasn't proved it. Two bodies to Jetomo Yoruba Shiwa Lower government as part of what Buhari handed over back to him, and yet Tinubu has not been able to give us the bodies. When is he going to give us bodies? I don't know. All I can tell you is that the bodies of these innocent Yorubas to our Lord Tinubu needs to be returned back so that we can give them a proper burial. I've just given you a kind of a background to just tiny of gbogbo problem tó wà ní Nàìjíríà. Táwa bá tẹ̀ sọ pé a fẹ́ fix Nàìjíríà, quote and unquote, táwa ìta bá sọ pé a fẹ́ fix Nàìjíríà, inú ẹ lọ ṣe politics, ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wọn, which already àwọn Yorùbá ti ń ṣe politics. We have Yoruba politicians among people that are Nigerians in the southwest, látòkè désàlẹ̀, tó ń ṣe politics. Whether the politics works is what I don't know, but we have them. Gbogbo àlàárín wọn, àwọn politicians were from the senators representing us in Abuja to the House representing the state level and to the governors, the deputy. These are the ones that are controlling the state. The federal is just the one that says, they touch àwọn nǹkan under this constitution, that whatever is on your land is not yours, it belongs to the federal. Gbogbo tó bá wà lórí ilẹ̀ yẹn, ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ fọwọ́ kàn. It belongs to the federal. That means that every month, they will then sit back, and this goes to all the states, and they are waiting for fake allocation, whatever the amount is according to the revenue shared among all the states. But àwọn state can produce jura wọn lọ. Do you know that some states in Nigeria have not produced jack shit? They've not added any impact to the IGR, internal generated revenue. Látijọ́ tí wọ́n ti dá wọn lẹ̀. They've not contributed any quota. Dr. Aliu have been able to do a lot of analysis on these that we have talked about. And yet, these states continue to represent Nigerians. Whereas those of the other states like Lagos, Port Harcourt, probably maybe Kano, are contributing, even though we know that they are not contributing enough compared to Intonwala to Lagos State. Intonjade in Lagos State, everybody, they might tell you that they close Apapa, they close Port Harcourt, but it doesn't matter. Lagos is producing enough, even without them. Especially àwọn ẹ̀yà wa kejì tó máa ń moan. Let them give us Apapa, Port Harcourt and all this. They should talk to their own representative and leave us alone. They're very skeptical. People say that we don't like each other and we will never love each other. That is a fact. They want to go. Why not allow them to go? They might tell you the Yorubas are the one holding Nigeria together. They have every right to pull out, because as much as they must say that, they all went and voted for Peter Obi in the hope that they would defeat Tinubu and they'll take control of the federal. They also have the ambition. They abandon Nnamdi Kanu, or abandon it. They forget about the whole project that he had in his hand after they sold him out. And Nnamdi Kanu, that is a British citizen, is still in the DSS custody, while they were all trying to bring Peter Obi in. But they forgot that Tinubu also has his own game. And Tinubu game beat Peter Obi hands down. Peter Obi was looking for the numbers. Tinubu was ready to rig. That is the Nigeria of our dream. You will not get a good, conclusive election. And like I said, my friend Balogun Eko is now saying to Baba Jebu, Adedibutu Kesintin, to go back to the court, which I don't know which of the court he's talking about, because maybe he's thinking that this is Europe. And I'm sure he knows better because he's a learned man. That kí Baba Jebu sọ fọ́mọ ẹ̀, because Bida Abiodun padà lọ sí court, because evidence wà that Ogun State election was rigged. Nobody needs to tell me Ogun State election was rigged. After the presidential election was concluded, remember that the whole thing was even changed, the date. After I did the presidential election observation in Lagos State, I then head straight to Ogun State, being my state, and I thought it would be nice to see what the governorship election looks like. Akinlade was the opposition to APC, endorsed by the criminal Senator OLAYOMI Koiki that finally sold Ogun State to the Chinese. There was a tough game between them. The short man devil, Yemi Osinbajo, kept flying back to Ogun State to give full support to this criminal Ilei, all them are criminals. Because Osinbajo knew that they were going to lose Ogun State, and I'm not joking. Akinlade would have been the governor of Ogun State. And that game is what they want us to continue to look into every 4 years. The amount of money that Balogun Eko was talking about, X amount, $1 million was paid. Look, everybody knows that election in Nigeria is a fraud. You conduct it every 4 years, it will still remain the same. Because the revenue allocation for the state is massive. And rather than use that for investment purposes in each of the states, Nile Yoruba, they're pulling the money out of the state and then moving it offshore in what they call the tax haven, where they all hide their wealth. And that means our Tawaje citizen, Taje tortoise, Taje elephant rather, go ingo, are now being overthrown by the tortoise. I saw a video online just yesterday before I was going to bed. Somewhere in the school, is on Linda Ikeji's page, how those students changed the military way. I was happy. As time goes, the whole country will be chasing each other, especially those that think that they own everybody. Majidi Brand, good morning. They will be chased away. Mukaila says Yoruba Nation is the only solution. So in 42 minutes, I've given you just small pinch of the picture of Nigeria. And that is the picture that will be if we do not exit. Because Iluyon is a normal country. And it can never be a normal country. So at 23 minutes past 4 a.m. Now, let's go and read this and see what we can extract from it. Moki Babami Ajala for sending me all these, articles and documents to work with, which is another angle to the other one that we talk about, the manifestation or the manifesto of Yoruba Nation that Baba Akintoye asked us to talk about. So let's go through it. And the headline says, dissolution is the solution. Let's first look at the word dissolution. Let's look for the English dictionary of dissolution. What does it mean? If I say dissolution, what does it mean to you? The word
dissolution,
as in Delta, India, Sarah, Oscar, Lima, Uniform Tango, India, Oscar, November.
Dissolution.
Kilo mean. Tiba sokwe dissolution.
Dissolution.
It is the action. Kò sí nǹkan tí ẹ bá ti fi action sí tó máa succeed. Ó fẹ́ kàwé ni tó bá ti fi action sí, you will end up coming out of the university or polytechnic without a good grade. You're gonna do late night, you're gonna write reports. Ó fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́ ni tó bá ní action. After your probation, they will tell you, we're sorry, we can't retain you. action is important. What we are doing right now is action. I think some of those are when you're kejì ọ̀rọ̀ pé ó dìgbà tá a bá lọ gbébọn nìkan. Ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ gbébọn ni. No. Yorùbá làwa a kì í ṣe wọ́n. We're different. So even if we're going to do action, we can do action that would have impact on the Yoruba and on the Nigeria today. And one of it is the media. What them power in the media, they cannot dispute that. Tobani media, Yoruba lo ni media. I'm sure some of you didn't expect me to be out this morning. And that is what they call media. Our media. We can control the narratives. Táwọn bá ń lo guitar, our mama lo media. And the power of our voice is powerful. Right in Nigeria right now, muti engage àwọn kan báyìí tó yẹ pé wọ́n lè dìde mọ́. As I'm doing the program, they're watching. There might be 3, 4, 5. That is the power of the media. That is the power of what we can do. Change that narrative that the colonial rules first engage with our people and debunk the lies. Mungo Park founded River Niger, the lies, and then bring the truth and allow that to sink slowly into the minds of our people, Nile. And that has been fantastic.
Dissolution.
The action of formally ending. The action of formally ending. What do we want to end? End Nigeria. They want to end bad governance. So if you end that bad governance, which one are you going to bring in? They are all the same. They are all the same. You cannot end one and go and, oh, you're going to bring Peter Obi. Peter Obi is a criminal himself. Criminal, don't know. So it's not about end bad governance that we need. We need a total end Nigeria. So when all these end bad governance projects were coming up, I said it is fine. It is your legal right under the Constitution. But that will not be the best solution. The best solution to the country right now is
dissolution.
And the meaning of the word
dissolution
is the action of formally. Does not anything more than engage each other and throw the question to the public and let everybody decide. Do we want to be one? Like Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Agbakoba, asked Akpabio. Do we want to be one? Because mind you, Yugoslavia was one until the breakaway. Ilayo de pare. So anything we will be one. We will be one by God's grace. Nobody's going to break Nigeria. Nobody's going anywhere. Are you sure that we want to be one? Because mind you, we don't want to be one. Akinshi Kokono. Good morning, if you're listening on the Twitter space. Good morning, Olong Yemi. European nation need to exit Nigeria as soon as possible. That is the solution. The solution is
dissolution.
Not trying to remain one by doing election and making that as a renewal. Where is the British High Commissioner Katrina Lang today? She has left Nigeria in pain by telling Nigerians that, the British says we should get our PVC, Kalofi Dibo, and your PVC has not given you a result, especially in Yoruba. Because that was what they were telling. Look, these are foreign diplomats that goes according to what their country is telling them. Just tell Nigerians that everything will be fine. After the EndSARS, everybody signed a petition, 100,000, excitement everywhere. We now know from that, because the privileged members of parliament, as soon as they're in that chamber, they can say anything and nothing is going to happen. We now realize that Gowon took half of central bank to UK. How many of you remember that? That it was during the EndSARS we knew that the British government was supporting the Nigerian police. Then, Emilokon, is it Oyedile? Shegon Elizabeth. So what we are saying for the Yorubas that are still in the loop, that there is a hope in rectifying the problem of Nigeria. I'm asking you, how? Do we need to be trying to rectify something that has entangled and we are all locked in the net? Or should we cut the net and be free and then start brick by brick by first having a constitution that will identify our true identity? Because right now, we're lost in identity.
Dissolution.
The action of formally ending or dismissing an assembly, partnership, or official body. The most important one that you will understand is the dissolution of their marriage. And when there's toxic in that relationship, you start finding a solution so that it doesn't become too much, that everybody go their separate ways. Because one will eventually kill the other if care is not taken. And that's exactly what we're experiencing in that contraction you're calling a country. It is too toxic. And that toxic will not go away. Happy New Month. Some people also ask,
Dissolution.
What is the simple words?
Dissolution.
Because even the formally ending, dismissing, assembly, partnership, many people like Koiki, this is too much. Termination, by breaking down, disrupting, the dissolution of the republic, their marriage dissolution, dissolving of an assembly or organization. But in what we are asking for is this contraction known as Nigeria. Some might tell you Rome is not built in one day, so you will die before you try to build Nigeria that will never be built, because Nigeria is an illusion. And it remains an illusion because nothing seems to be real. And that is why we are all in this situation. Dissolution is the solution. It is time for us to exercise the power of sovereignty that we have wasted and sold under the guise of spurious elections over the years. The excitement of the election fever allows people to get carried away. Everybody also wants to have their representative in the government, because the hope is that if I have somebody in the government, I am it. When it should be the opposite, that if the government is truly working, you don't need anybody. Like I showed you a few days ago in one of the Catholic schools, where a 2-year-old start their life. Omodomeji, enroll your children in October 23rd to start a free education process. But that is the key to prepare the future. But what we have been told is that let's do election every 4 years with the fraudulent PDP campaign of 16 years and the fraudulent APC that merged with CPC and brought Buhari in, dead or alive, the monster. And that has been the lies. And all this has been going on for a very long time. And it's still something that many Nigerians also want to eat part of the national cake. I'm going to be a senator one day. and I can also drive big cars. I'm going to be a senator, and I can have a big house, and I can marry a young girl, and I can also travel around the world. These are not people. Àwọn eléyìí ò ní wọn ò ní sympathy fún aráàlú. Wọ́n bá ní sympathy for aráàlú, Yàyà Bello máa yọ over 720 billion naira out of the state coffer just to pay for his own children's school fees and American school fees in dollars. As Ango Abdullahi said in a summary in his various write-up, this amalgam isn't working, therefore it has to be dissolved. Is this amalgamation working? Everybody knows it is not working. Yet, we all live in denial. You know, I know that this amalgamation is not working. And what do we do to end it? What we can do is what we're doing right now. It is called the engagement between us and them, the politicians. But the politicians say, no, let us continue election. Let Kaloma prepare for 2027. I'm sure many people are excited already that election will be coming in the next 2 years. By next year, they start campaign, because the last year of any government is as useless as tissue paper. So they're not going to get involved in any governance. Are you sure that in 25 years that we have been operating democracy in Nigeria, have we truly enjoyed governance? Ǹjẹ́ ìjọba ṣiṣẹ́ fún wa? Let's put aside the Yoruba nation. Have we experienced governance? Àti pé kí ló ń pè ní government? All I know is that Wasiu said, government of the people, for the people. Are these people for us? That we have to be begging them for almost everything, from the schools that are dilapidated, and until we bring it on the social media, which is our new way of communication, and then they will then react until the death of somebody comes up, and we're looking for justice for Mohbad. And kudos to all the team that are trying to get justice for Mohbad, because that case is beyond ordinary human face. And shout out to Dr. Kemi Olunloyo and many other issues. So in 25 years, we have not experienced any democracy in that contraction. All we have witnessed is pain and pain and pain. And until we exit and dissolve this mess that the British created it. And let me say this, like I said to them, we are not scared of saying it, even though I live here. But I wonder, millions of Yoruba people to Wanile, do you know that millions of you will not have the kind of freedom that I have in this country? If you remain in Nigeria, you will not experience it. Not even the tiniest part of it. Just reason say justice for Mohbad care, when there were no justice for Bola Ige and many others, a former Chief Justice that died during Obasanjo's tenure. Eyitewa Nigeria, should you continue with the space that you want us to continue Nigeria, and we all abandon what you say it is not worth it, and I live my life here, any experience the freedom that I'm enjoying today, I can assure you that you will not. Because freedom is not when you have money in your account. Most of you, freedom ni pé kí n ní millions of naira l'account mi. No, That is not freedom. Freedom is when you wake up in the morning and the fresh air comes in that you are free. The intimidation, the subtraction, the subjugation, the oppression, and this is going on in Yoruba land. Prophet Koleo sent me a voice note yesterday. I was asking the question that in Janwo Tojoloriwa, are they seeing everything that is happening? Or they are just like, there's nothing they can do? Because we're talking about ìran tó sọ pé wà highly educated, ẹ wo bí ta bára wa lénìí pẹ̀lú gbogbo education ta ní, pẹ̀lú gbogbo ìmọ̀ ta ní, yet our people are suffering. And that's why I'm asking, have we experienced any governance? Because gbogbo tá à ń kàn ń gbọ́ ni pé people do things themselves back home, from their security to their well-being. Nothing seems to have worked. Okay, Baba Ibrahim Akanji. But a peaceful dissolution is the next recourse. I've told you again the meaning of the word
Dissolution.
terminating. And we can terminate Nigeria without a bloodshed if truly these politicians want it. But do you think that they want it? You are thinking that I want to delay Yoruba nation. No, your politicians are the ones delaying Yoruba nation. This one is going off. We'll come back as soon as it comes down. Let's terminate it. The contract is not working. The contract has expired. Why do we want to renew it? Because we talk about the expiration of the amalgamation. Have we renewed it? Yes, we are. For every time the British election, you are renewing it. That's what you're doing. For every time tí ẹ bá ń ṣe election pẹ̀lú àwọn criminal politicians yìí, ẹ̀yin lẹ ń fọwọ́ ara yín renew this amalgamation. Because ẹ̀yin lẹ ń sọ pé everything is okay, everything is working, everything is fine. Gbogbo ìgbà kí ìgbà tí ẹ bá ń ṣe election, mo kí bàbá wa James Ojo, gbogbo ìgbà kí ìgbà tẹ bá lọ ń ṣe election, mo kí yín ní Kogi State. Àwa là ń fọwọ́ ara wa sọ pé a fẹ́ renew amalgamation. Even though amalgamation ti expire. Àwọn kan wá ní but tá a bá dìbò, wọ́n sì máa wọlé. They can't. Because we will shut down the system since the citizens have rejected them. But since the citizens lọ sọ pé, ó yá, èmi ló kàn, Oyèdélé. And that is why we got to make sure that our people understand what we're talking about, because not all of them understand. Ẹ̀yin lè rò pé ó yé wọn, kò yé wọn. We're talking about freedom. People are talking about religion. What has religion got to do? Some of you don't even have freedom of religion. Let me take you back to the UK. I didn't know this until my mom told me, because I have not been to the mosque for a very long time, and I've been truthful. I've not been to the mosque, but I was born a Muslim. So my mom was at the mosque right here in London, not this week, the previous week, and she saw police uniform hang on the, rail, and she was wondering, how did the jacket of a police reflector? And she was told that after àwọn tí wọ́n náà máa ṣe wá léṣe, and I'm talking about àwọn ẹ̀yà òyìnbó kọ̀ọ̀kan tó jáde pé àwa la fẹ́ gba ìlú mọ́ wọn lọ́wọ́, and they came out to start attacking the black people, the Asian, the Muslims, the British government now straight away assigned 2 police officers across the whole country to protect the mosque. Do you understand that? Ọlọ́pàá méjì lọ́fíìsì, and they were working round the clock from what I'm told. With shift. Tí méjì bá ṣe bí 8 hours, àwọn míì á gbà lọ́wọ́ wọn with their police car packed across every network of Muslim community in the UK. Do you know what that is? Can we have the same in Yoruba land? In your church, in your mosque? Nígbà tá à ń gbọ́ pé wọ́n ń pààyàn, Boko Haram ń pààyàn, wọ́n ń pààyàn. Ǹjẹ́ wọ́n fi ọlọ́pàá sí iwájú bẹ̀? Àbẹ́yìn lẹ tún ń ṣe security ara yín pé kọ́ má bàa pa yín. These are just citizens against us. Yet the British government put straight away measures to make sure that nobody. So after that, after Timori, there is a mosque close to where I live as well. These ones are not police officers, but they are the ones that were called SIA. They were outside the mosque, right there, and now say, okay. So, and the reason why that one is there is because the police station is not far, or maybe that is some arrangement that they've done. I want to come out, be on a hotbed, or lock office bed. I want to SIA badge security, making sure they monitor that there will be no disturbances of àwọn tó náà fi ṣèkà fún wa nínú ìlú èyí ni mò ń sọ. I remember not all of us were born here, but we are given the privilege to live here. So don't think Yoruba nation is against your religion. Rather, Yoruba nation is to also protect everybody religion regardless of your faith. This is in a country, Tokinshe, Muslim country, yet measures were put to make sure that everybody that is a Muslim is protected. I don't know whether they did the same thing in the church, but the tension was that àwọn òyìnbó náà máa attack wa, and àwọn ọ̀dẹ̀ mọ́ yàtọ̀. They don't know whether I'm a Muslim, they don't know who is not a Muslim. So what I'm trying to explain is that when some of you are like, Yoruba nation is against religion, Deborah was killed in Sokoto, burnt to death. What that Petro Silara, what a Shanosi, because she disagreed with their religion. Is that the kind of society that you want us to continue to live in? These animalistic people? Have you seen the latest video I posted on my timeline? I'm sure some of you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, you better go and check it. How the Boko Haram, every day they are becoming strong, because the conquest would happen if we do nothing. So let's come back again as I continue with this transmission that might also be coming to an end very soon. It's just to wake us up so that Kama Swan Supara. Going to 3 hours program, no matter. Is what matter is take something out of it. Nigeria. And let me move swiftly. A peaceful dissolution is the next recourse. This imperfectly. Perfect. Imperfectly. The amalgamation was imperfectly. The Yoruba groups of kingdoms, the Caliphate, the Emirate, nations, the Igbo Republican state, and other smaller nations have gone through continuous bloodletting, distrust, insincerity, false pretense at unity. Look at Yoruba people. Now them destroy this country. Yoruba people. They attack just because they're gone mad. Look at them. Give them 1,000 naira now. They go sell themselves out. Do you want me to start talking about you as well? I don't need to. But yes, we don't love you. You don't love us. Let everybody go their separate ways. Because jàǹbá tẹ̀ ń ṣe lórí ilẹ̀ wa òun ló ń lọ náà kan yẹn. The fake product. Ẹ̀yin lẹ́ ń ṣe jàǹbá. The fake product is run by the Igbos across the southwest. The drugs is run by the Igbos. But when they come on our timeline, look at Yoruba people. Look at them. Give them 1,000 naira now. The whole comment section were Igbos. Would I use that as a eye mark? Nah. I see those are stupid people. Because during the election, we saw the Biafra people don't share Biafra. When I want to share Biafra, how long share Peter Obi? Can you imagine that? They abandoned Biafra project. They went and support Peter Obi, but the same people will come and be attacking us. You know why? Because there is no unity among us. So they are pained like as we are pained. It is because the amalgamation is faulty. The amalgamation. And that's why the Yoruba people don't like them, and they don't like us as well. Do you know that I even heard that the BB Ninja, they play this game of who win and who does not win? Nigeria, Yoruba nation, country, Oduduwa Republic, and then when we have BB, it will be only Yoruba people. We don't need Igbo to be there. Yoruba ni kan la ṣe. Àmọ́ àwọn èèyàn láti Èkìtì, Oǹdó, akóra wa sínú ilé. You want unity when there is so much insincerity. We are liars. Go on the social media. Ṣèbárí tó náà máa pa gbogbo wa. I will buy all the Yoruba people in Canada. Ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì ń pa ìwà ni. Do you know the amount of fake drugs that they brought into the country? The amount of fake products don't want Nigeria, don't be wọlé. But I don't want to look into that section because at the end of the day, that is because we're in Nigeria. Toba people Bawanda, Tabagba country, let the Igbos come and do fake drug on Yoruba territory, and let's see what we're gonna do. Like I said, we will capture everybody, fingerprint and facial recognition in the Yoruba country. Any what people are bad that could fake in the country were time by fingerprinted. You will go back to your Biafra country. They're listening to me. I know they're there, they're watching. We will fingerprint you when we get our country. Just like you get fingerprinted before coming to the UK. Just for ordinary visa. So in Yoruba, then Bawanja, ìjà yẹn kọ́ la need, ìjà pé ká pull out la need. Ìjà pé ká jọ pull out òun la need, ká wá deal pẹ̀lú ra wa with the constitution. They will have to sell their property and exit if they cannot abide by the rules of a new country. But gbogbo ìtẹ́ ń bá wọn jà, ìjà tẹ́ ń jà yẹn kọ́ la need. Don't let the politician play divide and rule with us for those that want to exit. Because I know that some of them want to exit. And they truly want to exit. I won't come. Do you think that all the Igbos ló fẹ́ lọ ni? Kò ń ṣe gbogbo wọn ló fẹ́ lọ. Kò ń ṣe gbogbo wọn ló fẹ́ lọ. Àwọn náà sì fi jẹ nínú Nigeria. The Niger Deltas are not interested to break up Nigeria. We have already reached out to them. I know what I'm talking about. Wọ́n jẹ owó epo lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. They are not interested. And this is for the Yorubas. Ẹ má bá wọn jà. Ìjà tó yẹ káwa jà ni pé ẹja sọ fún Tinubu pé a fẹ́ lọ and we pull out. What unity with a question mark? We have all failures of degrees suffered. Nothing binds us together. Regardless of who you marry in Nigeria, nothing binds us together. You can find your love anywhere. That does not bind us together. I have Igbo friend. I have Yoruba. Oh yes, but we are not one. Different people. Kilo bind wa. No common ancestral origin. Our language is different. Our culture is different. Our way of life is different. Our dress mode is different. Our food preparation. Bí ìyàwó mi bá fẹ́ dáná nísìnyí kò gbọ́dọ̀ sí bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa dáná Ìgbò fún mi nínú ilé. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Ṣọmọ Ìgbò ni mi tó ń fi máa kí ló ń fi dáná Ìgbò fún mi? Ìbí Yorùbá ni mi. Àfi tí bá request fún ló gbọ́dọ̀ dáná Ìgbò fún mi. But ilẹ̀ Ìgbò inú ọmọ yìí the same family Ìgbò náà kó wá rú àmàlà fọ́kọ ẹ̀ ọkọ ní máa béèrè pé something wrong with you don't dey watch Koikimedia too much. I love him but don't give me amala. I will only ask for amala if I go to their party, maybe because I want to eat it. That is different. People. And governance, like I said, governance before the creation of the amalgam by the Europeans. The British took hold of the lower reach of rivers, Niger and Benue, and aptly call it Nigeria, and the French likewise. The dry upper reach of the river Niger was called Niger, and that's why Niger kicked out French and America. You'll be wondering that a small tiny country like that gave America weeks to exit a $81 million built drone facility. America might be gbogbo. Yes, they can remove their drone, which they will do. They can remove some things, but they cannot take the land back to America. They can destroy a few things. So you don't worry, don't worry yourself. Orúkọ tá a máa sọmọ inú ẹ̀ ló wà. Òun lọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀. Rahim Abbas, good morning. And you cannot fight them if you remain in one Nigeria, because they will be telling you we are one Nigeria, even though there is distrust, there is disunity, like I read earlier, because of the time. And I want to end this program, which is Joanna Walo. The name Nigeria was first used in an article that was published in the Times of London on January 8, 1897 by Flora Shaw, the girlfriend of Frederick Lugard. The name came in handy as this was towards the close of diplomatic battle between Britain and France over their claims of territories in West Africa. Imagine, they left their own place, came to our territory, and they're fighting over it. Why? Because something inside was sweet. Diamond, gold, this, that, iron core, everything. Thus, the incourageous creation of the protectorate in the north and the south resulted in the amalgam, a British trading post and a sphere of influence. It is not working. We are collectively delaying our individual progress and development. For every day in Nigeria, we are delaying our individual progress. But when Kolosi Mosholashe 200, it will not bring any progress. Kò jẹ́ pé kò ní gbà, but ó máa wà delay, kò ní wà developed. And the final part, we will all be better off, dissolve so that each will work within their new countries according to their wishes, pace, vision, dreams of a future. The call is for dissolution through a referendum by Oluwole Farati Ajala. Hashtag dissolution, the solution. Enough is enough. I hope you've learned one or two things this morning. And as I say, happy new month to start the day and happy new month to start the new month. I wish you all a very good morning. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. Bye for now.